Dear students, in this session we are going to look into traditional organization of society under Hinduism. As you all know, the Hindu religion is the religion of the majority in India. Indian culture, Indian law and everyday life in India have been very deeply influenced by the beliefs and practices of Hindu religion over several millennia. So, although Indian society today is composed of people of all religions, it is very important to look into the traditional Hindu social organization because Hinduism is the religion of the majority and the first religion to originate in India. In India, we find many practices common to people from all religions which are specific to the Indian subcontinent only. So many social practices that we find in India have existed here for centuries and they are very much connected to the Hindu religion and its beliefs. Social organization in India is one such area. As you may have observed in your own life, tradition plays a very important role in big and small matters in Indian society. Social organization is one of the most resistant to change in India. And we will now look at the role of tradition in Hindu social organization. Role of caste in traditional Hindu social organization. You must all be aware of the Indian caste system, which is the traditional organization of Hindu society, where people are grouped into a hierarchy of hereditary groups called castes. The main practical aspects of caste are that marriage occurs only within caste. Caste is fixed by birth and each caste associated with a traditional occupation such as weaving, barbering. Hindu religious principles underlay the caste hierarchy and limit the ways that castes can interact. The caste system is connected to the Hindu concept of the four Varnas, which order and rank humanity by innate spiritual purity. The highest Varna is Brahmins or priests. Next comes the Kshatriyas, the warriors, and then the Vaishyas, the merchants. The lowest Varna is the Shudras, consisting of laborers, artisans, and servants who do work that is ritually unclean. Contact between Varnas and particularly the sharing of food and water must be limited to avoid pollution of higher, purer individuals by lower, more unclean ones. In practice, you must have seen that the caste system consists of thousands of jatis of a local or religion nature. Each jati has its own history, customs and claimed descent from one of the four Varnas. Members of a jati may have many different professions, although commonly they will be related in status and nature to the jati's traditional occupation. Generally, Brahmins are the highest castes and at the bottom of the society are those associated with the occupation considered extremely unclean, such as handling garbage, human waste or corpses. In the past, these castes were called untouchables because their touch polluted. They were often forbidden from entering temples, living inside the village, drinking from wells used by high castes, or even letting their shadows fall on Brahmin. We see here that the Hindu belief about spiritual purity led to the organization of society according to the four Varnas. While there may or may not have been a proper justification for the appearance of caste as a basis of organizing Indian society at the time of its origin, the caste system has been the bane of India for centuries. India has seen many millions of people suppressed and exploited in society in the name of caste. Even today, we see mass genocide and many atrocities in Indian villages and families in the name of caste. The Indian caste system of organizing society has led to many inequalities in the distribution and enjoyment of wealth and resources in Indian society through many centuries and millennia. Students, I think we can all understand the feelings of a person who is born in a community that is considered untouchable or lower caste, who can never hope to have a decent life for himself or his children. Luckily for us, we are born in a free and democratic India, where such practices are against the law, and we can hope to see a caste-less society in India in a few generations. The role of women in traditional Hindu social organization. Students, we now live in the 21st century where women have the right to vote in all constitutional rights equal to a man. But if we look at the practices around us, especially the news items that are appearing in the newspapers and TV every day, we see that Indian women face a very unfair and narrow-minded society in many ways. Do you think this is related to the Hindu view of social organization and the role of women in Hindu society? Let us explore that question now. In Hinduism, a wife is considered to be Sahadharma Charni, someone who has equal share of the husband's duty. She is also referred to as Ardhangini, the other half of the husband. In Hinduism, a wife is an equal and is entrusted with the life and soul of her husband. He is not allowed to perform any religious activity without his wife. A man had to marry before he was considered complete. Union of man and woman has considered to be central to maintaining the balance of family, community, state, universe and life itself. At a time when the position of women in the rest of the whole world was restricted to being a mother, sister, wife or a slave, Hindus worshipped them as goddesses, honored them as sages and saints, and respected them as rulers with brains as well as brawn. Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, Gayatri, the goddess of Vedas, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, Kali, Durga, goddess of war, Earth as the eternally patient mother goddess of all life forms. This is due to the high regard for women in traditional Hindu society, where the religion does not forbid her from holding similar duties as a man. But we also see the other extremity in position of ordinary women in India. Women in this country are normally expected to play a traditional and passive role. It is the rare woman with a good family background and loads of courage who manages to break this traditional role and achieve position in society. As you may experience yourself, the average Indian woman generally fulfills a very traditional role in the Indian family and society. One of the reasons cited for this is the numerous invasions that were experienced in northern India, which led to women confining themselves to their household duties and not venturing to hold position or roles outside their families. In the Middle Ages of Indian history, it was not safe for women to leave their houses and hold public office. So gradually, their roles became restricted only to the home, and they become powerless without access to money and resources. Student, what do you think of the modern Indian woman? Is she a good mix of tradition and modernity? Does she retain the age-old traditions of India while also being ready for the challenges of the 21st century? Although the news reports of today do not have much promising news about the role of Indian women in Indian society, we can see from the traditional role of Indian women in India and Hindu society that they did once upon a time live in a free and equal society, and they will surely find a way to blend the modern and the traditional and help shape and free and equal India. Age and Hindu Social Organization. Students, you must have seen the importance of the Varna or caste system in your everyday life, which arose from the beliefs of the Hindu religion. This was a way of organizing society in Hinduism, but Hinduism also provided a system of organizing individual life that is called the ashrama systems. Thus, Hinduism provided a basis of social organization based on age also. Here is a table to explain the 4 ashrama stages of the ashrama system to you. In stage 1, the brahmacharya stage, child is in the student life and is from 8 years to 18 years of age. He would be sent to a gurukul and live with his guru. He acquires knowledge of science, philosophy, scriptures and logic, practicing self-discipline and learning to live a life of dharma. The entry of this stage is marked by Upanayana. Then the child enters the stage of Grihastha. The second stage as a young adult. The young adult undergoes a ritual called Samavartana, which is done to earmark the end of studentship. In Grihastha, he enjoys the ideal householder life and performs the duties towards his family and society. A man is in Grihastha stage up to 40 years old. 40 to 65, after the completion of one's householder duties, one gradually withdraws from the world and prepares for the complete renunciation of the final stage. The last stage of ashrama system is the sannyasa stage, where one withdraws from the world and starts dedicating to spiritual pursuits. A man is considered to be entering to this stage at the age of 65 till his demise. So you can see from the above table that in Hindu traditional way of organizing society, people of different ages were usually found to be involved in similar activities of life. Young people lived in gurukuls, middle-aged people were usually married, and old people withdrew from worldly life and later left for the forest. To a large extent, the social organization according to age is seen to exist in India today also. While marriage is becoming rarer in many societies and we find old people working on their hobbies or profession until the end, we find that for majority of Indians, society is organized according to age. Some changes have come about in this social organization due to modernization, but by and large, age does determine social organization in India even today. Family life in Hindu social organization. We have seen in our analysis above that Hinduism recommended married life for people above a certain age in order to enjoy life in all its aspects. Family life was therefore quite important in Hinduism. The basic building block of Hindu society is the joint or extended family, usually consisting of 3 or 4 generations living together. The women collectively cooked and shared domestic responsibilities, and the men provided the pooled income. Elders take important decisions and based on their own experience in life, offer guidance to younger members. Within the family, property usually passes from father to son, and men make many of the decisions. The older ladies carry considerable influence. When women marry, they usually join their husband's family, though maintaining contact with their own. Hindu families demonstrate firm ties of affection, strikingly different from many Western families. Hindu scripture has elaborately defined the dynamics of the various relationships within families. For example, a grandchild can tease and joke with a grandparent in a familiar way, not permissible with the father or mother. The different relatives are given specific terms of address. Unlike the West, where aunt or uncle refers to a whole host of relatives and family friends. The extended family traditionally provides shelter and support for the elderly, the disabled, and the less well off. Children are expected to repay the debt owed to their parents by supporting them in their retirement and old age. An important aspect of Hindu family is the interdependence between members. Marriage itself is a broad social and religious obligation rather than just a relationship between partners. The extended family provides considerable practical and emotional support, as for example, when children are born. One advantage is that marriage stability is not inordinately reliant on the state of the couple's emotional ties. Despite these possible benefits, social trends indicate that extended family is becoming less popular and young people often value their freedom that the nuclear family offers. We can summarize the 6 key aspects of the Hindu family system as 6 key aspects of a joint family are: head of the family called the Karta takes all decision regarding financial and economical aspect. Second, all members live under one roof. All members share the same kitchen. Third, 3 generations are seen living together. Fourth, income and expenditure is through a common pooling of property held together. Fifth, there is a common place of worship. Sixth, no division of property until the death of the Karta, head of the family or older male person. The impact of traditional Hindu social organization in today's India. After looking at the above traditional Hindu social organization, do you feel that they have an impact on social organization in India today? Let us first try to think of where India stands today and what the general perception about India in the world today is. For the past decade, India has been considered one of the big powerhouses of the 21st century, a country that has modernized very fast and is one of the major players in the global market. India is seen as one of the Asian tigers and other tiger being China. India and Indians are known all over the world for the software revolution, which has made Bangalore famous all over the world, and Indians famous all over the world for their information technology skills. India is also growing at a fast pace economically and is a target of worldwide attention for her young population that is going to shape the future of the globe in the coming years. Where does the traditional Hindu social organization stand in today's India? If we look at caste and make an honest analysis, we have to admit that we have not been successful as a country in wiping caste and its injustice and inequalities away from our society. Caste still plays a very big role in the life of the average Indian in the villages and to some extent in the cities also. Marriages are still arranged after taking castes into consideration, even among educated and rich families in India. So students, Do you all agree with me that caste is a disease that modern Indian inherited from the ancient Hindu social organization, and that we all have to work together to make sure that future India does not inherit the problem of the caste system? If we look at the role of the women in Indian society, again, it is a strange mix of modern and tradition. While many women from privileged backgrounds have achieved many great things, the life of average Indian women, however, is still shaped by tradition, and the woman remains powerless and unable to control her life or influence positively the changes in society. Students, you must have all heard about the recent developments that are being reported in the media. India is now considered to be one among the most dangerous countries for women to live in. It is time to discover our old traditions where women lived free and fearless lives while still conforming to tradition and contributed positively to society. I'm sure you will all agree with me on this. Being modern does not mean breaking with tradition always. And being traditional does not mean that one has to continue with unhealthy trends in society. And I am sure the women and men of India will soon find a way out of the current horrible situation regarding the role and safety of women in India. Age still does determine role in society in India. While the percentage of people who stay unmarried may have become higher in cities, mostly Indians of all religions follow the traditional 4 stages of student, householder and retired life. We do not really have old people going off into the forest to renounce life anymore. Our senior citizens do stay in society and contribute to society in many beneficial ways. If we look at the family and its role in social organization, we find that traditional Hindu joint family does not really exist as it used to before, and Indian families have become nuclear families, and this is bringing about many changes in Indian society. Conclusion. Students, I am sure you will all agree that to understand the present condition of any society, we need to understand the past history, beliefs and practices of that society. Understanding Indian society therefore means starting with an analysis of the traditional Hindu organization of society. I hope you were able to understand the factors that influenced Hindu organization of society since ancient times and the forces and influences that have caused many changes throughout Indian history. Today's Indian society is not really all that different from the traditional Hindu society. While there have been many changes, especially in the past few decades, Indian society has evolved over millennia, and any change that has to come needs to come about slowly with an understanding of the past traditions and practices that give Indian life and Indian society its unique Indian flavor.